Today at Vetrepreneurial Insights at St. Joseph's University, we welcome Major General John Gronski. Here at the Office Veterans Services at St. Joseph's University, we work to provide veteran entrepreneurs with tools for their success. In light of the ongoing pandemic and its impact on the business climate, we're speaking with veteran small business owners to learn how they're dealing with this situation. Major General John Gronski, U.S. Army retired, is the Chief Executive Officer for Leader Growth Consulting. He is a much sought after public speaker and leadership seminar facilitator. He is the author of the best-selling book, The Ride of Our Lives, Lessons on Life, Leadership, and Love, available on Amazon.com. General Gronski retired from the Army in 2019 after 40 years of service on active duty and in the Pennsylvania Army National Guard. He is a decorated combat veteran, and as a brigade commander, he led over 5,000 American soldiers and Marines in Ramadi, Iraq in 2005 and 2006. He also commanded the 28th Infantry Division from 2012 to 2016 and served as a Deputy Commanding General for U.S. Army Europe, headquartered in Wiesbaden, Germany from 2016 to 2019. To learn more about General Gronski, visit his website at johngronski.com. Welcome, sir.
Hey, Kevin, it's great to be with you. Thank you for hosting this.
Thank you. So if you could just maybe kind of briefly, fill in any gaps in your military service and maybe kind of explain a little bit what led you to want to join the Army and if you planned on making a career from it from the get-go.
Yeah, my father was a World War II veteran. He encouraged me to join the Army. Went to the University of Scranton, was in the ROTC program there, got my commission in 1978. Served 4 years on active duty, both Fort Benning, Georgia, Fort Lewis, Washington. Then when I moved back to northeastern Pennsylvania, somebody recommended that I check into the Pennsylvania Army National Guard, which I did, and that was the best decision of my life. I've really had a very blessed career, both on active duty and in the Pennsylvania National Guard.
Great. Well, how has your military experience influenced you to create Leader Growth Consulting? What do you hope to achieve through your consulting efforts?
Yeah, in the Army and actually in any military service, the emphasis is on training soldiers, Marines, sailors, airmen to be stronger leaders. And through the 40 years of my service in the Army, and as I would move up through the ranks and reach various levels of command, I learned that it was important to never stop learning how to become a better leader. And what I'm striving to do now with my leadership consulting firm is to take advantage of the experience, the leadership experience I've had over the last 40 years, not only in the Army, but also in the civilian sector, and help leaders in various organizations become stronger and better leaders.
Okay. Well, how's the novel coronavirus impacted your business and consulting efforts? Like, how does it look now versus before the crisis?
Yeah, I like anyone else, most of my engagements were face-to-face engagements, on-site engagements. And now with this coronavirus crisis, with the social distancing, I've pivoted to doing a lot of virtual engagements. As a matter of fact, I had a couple of different organizations that I had been booked with cancel their engagement with me. And then I made the suggestion that we do those engagements virtually, which they agreed to, and we actually carried those engagements out, and they went very, very well. So I think it's all about adapting, all about being creative and pivoting when you need to.
Wonderful. Well, how's your time commanding the 28th Infantry Division and your time as Deputy Commanding General for U.S. Army in Europe prepared you to advise your clients during this challenging period?
Yeah, commanding the 28th Infantry Division, that was, leading 15,000 soldiers over at U.S. Army Europe. We had 30,000 soldiers assigned over there, plus just dealing with the diversity of our NATO allies and other European partners over there. So really what I learned and what I try to bring to the table is that everybody on the team is important in some way. Everybody on the team has some particular talent. We as leaders could learn from any of our teammates, even if we've got a great deal more of years of experience in a particular area. There could be less experienced people on our team that perhaps are more experienced in a specific area that we could learn from, and we could use those talents. So it's really all about understanding the talent that you have on your team, and then taking the right size peg and putting it in the right size hole, and using the talented people that we have around us.
I know, because I served under you in the 28th Infantry Division, and it's such an incredibly diverse organization, with people from this, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, to people from farming communities and post-industrial towns, and people from all walks of life, all levels of education. It's a pretty interesting crew. And then you went from there all the way to Europe, like you're saying, where you're commanding U.S. forces with our European allies, with people with multiple different languages and cultures. Tell me about that. Like, how would you learn about yourself during the process, and what have you learned about kind of people adapting to new cultures and new situations on the ground?
Yeah, I really learned that it's really all about purpose. It's about whatever organization you lead, or whatever teammate you work with. You've got to be able to impart a purpose that really resonates with the people that you're working with, the people on your team. So it's setting forth a vision, a shared vision that your teammates also believe in just as strongly as you do, and then giving them that purpose. Because without a strong purpose, people won't have the resilience to fight through tough times. When you have a purpose that you really believe in, you're more prone to fight through the tough times to achieve that purpose. So you got to be doing something, or working for something greater than yourself. It has to be working towards something that's just greater than yourself. I think that's the key.
What are some of the greatest needs that you see in the businesses and nonprofits you're consulting for, especially in terms of after they've defined their mission and really communicated it well, especially in these environments where people have to pivot, and whether it's a restaurant owner who suddenly has to come up with delivery services, or someone who has to change their factory to maybe make clothes or specialized good to making masks or medical equipment. Like what? Because obviously in your positions throughout your entire 40-year career, I mean, successful pivoting has been kind of the key to your success and those that you led. So specifically, could you maybe speak on that, give us some insights on that?
Yeah, as a leader, you have to have the courage to make decisions with less than perfect information. And, if you as a leader wait till you have 100% of the information, make a decision, you're going to be behind your competitors. So you've got to have that courage to do so. But then after you make that decision, as more information becomes available, then you have to be willing to call an audible if you need to pivot slightly if you need to, as more information becomes available. So it's really about taking action.
So now we can maybe move to your book that you've written, The Ride of Our Lives, Lessons on Life, Leadership, and Love, available on Amazon.com. If you maybe talk a little bit about kind of the book and kind of the ideas about it. And as I kind of told you before the interview, I had the pleasure of meeting your wife at my unit's armory a few years ago. She's from Austria, and she's just a pleasure to be around. So you maybe kind of talk a little bit about the book and your journey.
Yeah, the funny thing is, after serving 40 years in the Army, the first book I write after I retire isn't about the military. It's about this cross-country bicycle trip I took with my wife, Verity, and our 15-month-old son back in 1983. It was all self-contained. We were 3 months on bicycles traveling across the United States, over 4,000 miles. It really is an amazing journey.
Wonderful. So if you could kind of just maybe have any last-minute insights for our veterepreneurs, and maybe not only professionally, but I was talking about how, I know you've been kind of over your career, a father figure to the thousands of younger people under your command and care. And at the same time, you're a family man. So maybe if you have any insights about how you were able to kind of not straddle both worlds, but really excel in both worlds. And because I know a lot of our business owners, they have their young families at home, but they also they care for the people that work for them. And this is a challenging time where they're having to make tough decisions. So if you could maybe talk a little bit about the personal end of things, and then kind of bring that into kind of how they can kind of manage their business during this crisis.
Yeah, I think leading by example is very, very important. And I think the foundation of being a leader is strong character and strong values. So for anyone who hasn't taken the time to really think hard about what their core values are and what they would, what principles they would stand for, no matter how difficult the situation gets, I think that's a very, very important thing to do. The other thing to realize is that your children or the followers within your organization are always watching. You may not even know they're watching, but they're watching you. They want to see how you react to different situations, how you talk to people, how you deal with different situations that come up, challenging situations, and they will follow your lead. So I think that strong character, leading by example, being aware that people are watching you, and you have to be a good role model for those either in your family unit or your business, are extremely important. And the other thing is, a lot of times we're pulled in different directions by our family, by our job, by other endeavors that we're engaged with. And I don't think it's ever dividing things up equally, like 33%, 33%, 33%. Sometimes I need to spend 90% of the time on family issues and only 10% on business, or vice versa. Sometimes you got to spend 90% of your time on the business and 10% on the family at certain periods. But you've got to be adaptable enough to do that. And at least that's how I've always operated through my career. It's effective for me.
And do you have any last words of encouragement for Vetrepreneurs right now?
Yeah, I mean, hey, the thing is we're going to get through this. Whether we go back to the way 2019 was or not, it doesn't matter. We are going to get through this. Most of us have been through some type of personal struggle in the past. And so I think we need to think about the struggles we've been through, gain the confidence from those struggles we've been through to know that we're going to come through this strong. I'm very hopeful that things are going to be better. I know they're going to be better. So I think we have to have a positive attitude and help one another out. This is the time to stick together, and don't be afraid to ask for help if you need it. If you do need help, ask for it, but then also be willing to put that helping hand out to other people as well.
Well, sir, thank you for your time, and thank you for joining us at Vetrepreneurial Insights. I know I was honored to get to, on a very low level, serve under you at the 28th Infantry Division, and you have so much wisdom to share. And I encourage everyone here to check out your book and check out your videos on your website at johngronski.com. Thank you very much, sir.
Kevin, thank you. It was a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for your service, and thank you for the message you put out with this podcast.
Thank you, sir.